Welcome to Under the Hood, your fortnightly insight and recap into accounting's leading topics and practical insights. Brought to you by Accountants Daily.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Under the Hood, brought to you by Accountants Daily. Happy Tuesday to you all. Spring has officially sprung, and for all of us Sydney-siders, it is so lovely to see the sun after a couple of really grim weeks of rain. And also with these warmer months, I find this time of year comes with events and conferences, which has been so busy, and I'm sure a lot of you out there are so busy and perhaps even a little bit unwell after all of the festivities. As always, my name is Imogen Wilson, and speaking of fun, I am joined in studio today by a fantastic guest who is looking very dapper and as smiley as always, the lovely managing partner of my accounts, Noel Tiufino. Noel, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to Under the Hood. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much. This is awesome. I love being here. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Fantastic to have you. And like I said, you're looking very smiley. You're looking very well.
Do you want me to tell you about my moisturising routine?
Please tell me.
I use Kiehl's. And if I know that I have zero endorsement and it's got nothing to do with accounting, but I love Kiehl's moisturiser. It's so good. There's my secret.
I mean, his skin is glowing.
I moisturised literally 15 minutes ago.
I love it.
Heavy layer.
I love it. So like I said, Noel, it has been a really busy couple of weeks. Xerocon in the mix as well. Yep. How has everything been for you? Business, events, life in between?
I think
what's going on?
You've nailed it exactly. I don't know if it is just like we've had like one day of sun and like it does feel like obviously it's just lifted.
Summer.
Or if that's just how I'm feeling. But post Xerocon, there's definitely like a lot of excitement there. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I saw on LinkedIn, like it was just a flood of optimistic and positive sentiment, I think, from conference. And I think you saw like I was a little bit damaged post Xerocon, but such is the way.
You won't be the only one.
Yeah, definitely not. I have rose-colored glasses, so maybe that what I'm interpreting or the way that my LinkedIn algorithm is feeding me stuff, but I'm just saying like everyone was like, we loved it. And maybe it's just because, it hasn't been around for a little while in Sydney and having like 3,500 accountants just hang out. And a lot of them are a lot of us are good friends and we haven't like seen each other together at Xerocon in a while. And I think just that, hanging out. It's like getting reunited with like all your best mates for a little while, and it was just fun. Yeah.
Well, that's what I find the biggest thing about this industry as well is when I came in, I was like just joining a group of friends, just a group of buddies who are all so supportive of each other. And I was like, well, can I please join this club?
Yeah, I think we had one of your colleagues join us at the lunch we did at Xerocon. We did a lunch pre-Xerocon with about 40 accounting firms.
Yes.
And the people that haven't come to our events before, particularly if they're out of industry, find it interesting that you can have like 40 effectively competitive businesses in the room, but we're like, slapping backs and having fun, cracking jokes. There is zero competitiveness in that room. There is zero, hey, what's your revenue? Like, what's this? It's like this free market for info and genuine support. It's awesome. And then like, obviously that just carries through to comments. So I don't know if it's an accountant thing. But yeah, we love that.
I think it is an accountant thing because everyone is lovely.
Yeah.
Everyone I speak to is lovely. Obviously, everyone's, of course, got their opinions and will tell me, Imogen, I think this story is crap and I don't agree. However, at the end of the day, oh, yeah, absolutely. But I love them for it.
I know a couple of people.
Yeah. That's why we love them. But so tell me a little bit more about your events. Have you got any coming up at the end of this year?
Yeah, I just did the promo on Monday. We've booked out the Ivy for Melbourne Cup, the entire I think you may get an invite, but I'll check.
Be there, guys.
So we've got 90 people sit down, and it's dedicated to accountants. So 90 accountants, and then we open up for 3 to 5. It goes further to another 100, to a total of 120. So that'll be a pretty big event for us. I did look through our archives. Our first Melbourne Cup function was 2013. So we've been doing it a little while now, and so. This will be the biggest, but yeah, it's good, a lot of fun, we having 120 accounts in the room. It's just going to be a good time, like you said, super friendly, and good, lot of fun. What else has happened? I think we did a collab with Xero that gets released soon, so we did filming for that on Tuesday. So last Tuesday, so it feels feeling busy but good.
Amazing. And so obviously you have another little surprise
yeah.
coming on. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
Yeah, so I have a 1-year-old. His name's Jack.
We love you, Jack.
I have a 2-year-old, Jack. It was his birthday last week. So I came back from XeroCon a little bit damaged, and then I'll show you a photo afterwards. I'll show you a photo afterwards. And I had to then get dressed up as Woody day after, and I'm like, and my best mate, he was dressed as Buzz because of the Toy Story theme. So he just turned 2. And then I've got a daughter on the way, which is super exciting for us. Yeah, she's due in 11 days.
Any minute now.
Yeah. I think if we're gonna go grab a drink or a bite after this, it may be
obviously
might be my last little hurrah for 3 weeks or so.
For about 3 hours.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you reckon you're going to be the ultimate girl dad? I can imagine you would be.
I was about to say, I feel like Jack already is like, okay. I don't know, it's bad. I don't know what the rule book on parenting's like, but he's like, "Can I have this?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I can see from my partner Claire, she's. I think I know when she's cranky. She's not that cranky, but there's a little bit of faux crankiness. Like, can you stop giving him what he wants? I was like,
"Can you stop giving the kid a mimosa, please?"
Yeah, but look at him.
It's so cute.
If he wants a little lolly, I'll give him a
Who
lolly.
wants a mimosa?
Okay, but yeah, I think I don't see how she's not going to be, princess.
Yeah.
She's going to get whatever she wants, I think.
Yeah. I love that. That's too funny.
Yeah.
Oh, so for everyone tuning in today, all fun aside, we are going to be talking about some technical accounting things, of course, within all of this fun. Yeah. So for everyone tuning in, we have Noel here to chat about the future of business in the accounting industry, which is going to look a little bit different. And basically, traditional accounting is no longer enough, and the future will rely on firms that deliver fast, contextual insights powered by tech, guided by strategy, of course, and obviously grounded in human leadership, which a lot of people are talking about at the moment.
Yep.
But Noel, before we get into that, give us a little bit of an insight into who you are, your career, and where you got to where you are today.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So I'm Noel Tiufino, managing partner, My Accounts. Interestingly, started it feels like it sounds like a long time ago, but I don't know if it actually is. 2007, which is ridiculous because I was 19 then.
Whoa,
baby! I didn't start the company, but I joined then. It would be my first professional job. By professional, wear a shirt and pretend Now I still had an emo fringe then, so I've seen some photos.
Today it's looking very pushed back. It's still there.
It's the same thing. It's the same
in
length.
hiding.
If I didn't have 40 kilos of product in there, it would be forward like this. But
Justin Bieber in the studio.
Yeah. But yeah, so 2007, I was at that age, I would do anything for cash. So I was teaching guitar. I was working at a cafe in Narrabeen. I was washing dishes. That was a really cool job because I just ate and washed dishes. It was like one hand wash, one hand eat. Probably not sanitary, but that's what I did.
Dream.
And then third, I was doing what I thought was admin at the mechanic at the top of my street, and it turned out that admin was actually bookkeeping.
I thought you were about to say fraud or something. Turns out I was illegal.
I read one of your articles recently. There's been a couple of that.
Yeah, I know.
But no. So he just said, the mechanic at my street, his name was Harry. He said, "I need you to help me with something that I'm falling behind on. I just need you to record my income, my expenses, and there's this thing GST. You got to pay the government about 10% of the net." And I was like,
just that little thing.
And I was like, I think I can work that out. So I did. I just went through the bank statement thrower and added things together, and I was just bashing through an Excel and doing the most basic rudimentary admin as I thought it was. Anyway, someone got wind of this. One of my mates was like, "I think you're doing something called bookkeeping. 1, number 2, there's software that does what you're doing, more automated. And number 3, do you want to speak to my mate? He's running a bookkeeping company, and you can do more of this." And I was like, "Well, what's he paying?" So now,
this fraud stuff is kind of fun.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's how that kind of bookkeeping thing started. So I remember then it was So there was 3 of us, and it's interesting. With what you were saying before, we'd talk about and the advancements, everything then organizationally I think was a lot easier because everything was done on site. and on paper and things like that. So I fast forwarding, say, a couple of years, we had a few more staff. I kind of moved from bookkeeping because I wasn't qualified into like more operations.
Just the side note, I wasn't qualified.
So I was like, and then so organizing a fleet for us was easier because because they're on site, we would break down days into kind of half blocks, 4 hours here, 4 hours there, because it kind of just made sense. So scheduling people in then was super easy. It was Imogen at the time. And that was it. I mean, probably the most difficult part of my job was that I was also responsible for printing out the invoices. That's not the most difficult part of my job. My most difficult part of the job was printing the right mailing labels on the right Avery paper thing. Because if you select the wrong template, it was this big ordeal. And putting it in the right tray of the printer and all these really complicated things. That was the most complicated part of my job.
Those goddamn printers.
You know what I mean?
I still have problems with them.
Yeah. So print them out, mail it out, and things like that. 2010, we became partners with Xero. And that actually was, like, I'm not trying to just plug them, but that was, like, it marked a significant shift in our business.
For sure.
Like, significant, because, and obviously it came with the kind of the cloud revolution, which was then also being able to push remote working to some extent. And that was hard-ish as a sell for some people, but it's something that we wanted to embrace because then we like the people we work with in our company at least. So it was like we then get to hang out in our office together and like do the work for other clients and do lots of clients. So then the scheduling now got a little more complicated because it's now effectively you could work on almost every client every day if you wanted, if it was kind of allocated that way. So that was definitely a shift in business. What accelerated that was COVID.
Of course.
Right? Because then, so if you had the clients that were reluctant for whatever reason to do that, you now had to. But then it was awesome because we were like, well, we've been doing this for years, so we have this proven way and blah, blah, blah. And so that was kind of like the final piece where it's like, okay, now we can get that efficiency. And then we have an offshore team. We have a team in Philippines. And so, the margins are greater in that respect. And being able to grow on that was probably like now a second part of the business. 2017 as well as when I took over as managing director, and we had a little bit of a leadership change there. And then, pushing forward, I think now I would say it would be the entering of the next era is what I reckon.
The next era is huge too.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot coming.
Yeah. It's just those two letters that everyone keeps, going on and on about.
Yeah.
And it seems to have maybe a different interpretation for each person, it seems.
Yeah.
But AI, it's what everyone wants to talk about. And I think everyone's already using it to some extent. Like I just did a Woolies order this morning and it telling me, hey, did you forget your coconut water? And I was like, I did.
Actually, yeah.
I did,
Thank you.
So is that intelligent? I guess, and is that AI? Maybe. I don't know. Predictive analytics, like is that AI? So, to some extent, it's fairly pervasive already.
Yeah.
But I think that the acceleration of which we will adopt across its various use forms will increase. I think it's just going to happen. It's going to happen subtly, but really, really fast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think people often look at it black and white, zero and like zero to 100%, AI or whatever. But I think it's much more incremental and grey as to what you're adopting. By grey, I mean that you don't know or that that what it is that you're using. So, obviously the adoption of say GPT.
Yep.
I would say that, and its various other uses or various, so it's Copilot, GPT. Then you see it like popping up in every other app. Every app has a language, an LLM.
Well, because everyone's scared of getting left behind. So they're like, well, let's just bring it in. And
we
don't know what it will do, but it will do something.
But it's in every app.
Every app.
It's in my TikTok now. I have a TikTok channel, I don't have a channel. I'm a scroller. And it's there, and it took the place of where I used to go to like look at another video, but now it opens up like a TikTok LLM.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I'm searching for, and I was like, I didn't want that, but it's now everywhere. So even if you were like semi-resistant or whatever, for whatever reason to use, to query GPT, you're probably using it, or like you see it every day.
Mm.
And I think it's like those kind of instances get more and more. So, I mean, interesting in accounting. So what does that look like? I mean, okay, so Xerocon, I think one of the big things there was Jax.
Yeah, tell me about how you feel about that, or what you think about it, because obviously you're partnered with Xero and you guys use Xero.
Yep.
And I mean, you started at My Accounts in 2007, but
Yep.
you don't look a day over 21,
Thank
obviously.
you. Big moisturizer.
It's the moisturizer, guys. I will be buying some. But yeah, so tell me how you feel about those announcements.
We are pro tech, like we always will be. And if that means that we have to adjust a little bit, we will. We're pro. Now, I think the caveat there, the only thing to be careful of is that you don't be a shiny lights ball chaser, because you can be pulled in really a lot of directions. You have to have a general business plan, and it has to be strategic for what you're trying to accomplish. If, however, it does align with that, you should absolutely do that. So, for us, where we kind of just done our 5-year plan now, so moving towards 2030, and some of our core beliefs there, we have to deliver what we want to deliver faster. I don't think it's acceptable enough to be, delivering, say, month-end reports 14 days, 7 days after. Like, things should be as live. Numbers, like reconciled numbers, should be as live as they can be now. And we have some work to do internally in our business to make that the case. But, and so things like Jax and or external things, like even so we're a Microsoft environment. And so, using, say, Copilot Business and activating that, which we have for our team, where we can, query, where we can, in a secure way, analyze financial statements and things like that, provide some really basic commentary without much effort, has been actually a bit of a game changer already. Yeah. So along with Jax, Xero bought Sift as well.
Yeah.
So we're on board. We're using that. We adopted that super quickly.
What does that look like for you, like adopting it? Is it something you need to learn with, or is it something that you're so well advanced at now that you're like, it comes in and you go, cool, I can work that out pretty easily?
No, it does have to be, like, we have a board too. Like, it has to be strategic, and it is a big deal. But I think the time, these things, timing, it came at a time when we were looking at, okay, so like I said, if we wanted to move faster, we have to be strategic about that. We have to identify what's going to enable us to move faster, and also what things are we moving faster in. So as I said before, we're looking at wanting to deliver reporting faster. So therefore, you need to have a consolidated, focused reporting stack. So at the moment, it was kind of, we use everything, starting at Excel and onwards from there. But moving from Xero to Xero plus Sift is going to be a big change for us. But in terms of adoption, we got strategic. We spoke to Xero and Sift, made sure it could deliver everything that we needed it to. I think so. You did have to answer some your own business case. It does. Where part of our consideration were both short and long form. So like dashboards and long form, we needed both. Graphical interpretation and neat formatting and things like that. So it ticked all the boxes, and then it's bought by Xero, so we have that trust in them that they're making the right decisions. I think no due diligence that we could do would ever be greater than the due diligence that Xero would have done for Sift. Like looking under the hood. And if you think about it, they probably looked at a lot of other platforms to acquire.
Yeah, well, you'd think so. I mean,
I would hope so.
They've got so many people relying on them, so many people that are subject to telling them what they think and feel and how they, are using it. So you'd think that they would look into it.
So, I think that they've probably done some level of DD on many platforms.
Hope so.
And whether it's like a beyond my comprehension, like there's probably some sort of data thing in the background, maybe the way it's built, maybe it's like its code platform is superior or something like that, or it's malleable, or and integrates well with Xero's thing. But that can only be a good thing. And particularly if Xero's embedded, like it's going to be very hard for me to displace Xero. As a thing. So therefore, then if they've acquired a reporting stack that is embedded too, I think that's it only makes sense to kind of jump on as well.
For sure. And so can I ask you, it might be a controversial question, but it's something I know that I can ask you
Yep.
and something I have been sitting on for a while since XeroCon.
Yep.
So obviously myself, not an accountant, but from my understanding of all the people I talk to and everything that's going on with all this tech that I speak about and talk about and learn about is when people were doing the demo of Jax and it said, can I afford to buy a van? And they're saying, Jax doesn't provide advice or doesn't, won't do that. It's not going to cross that boundary. But to me, I would say that question is advice. What would you like that? And I've heard people say that as well, saying, is that question not giving advice?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Is there any controversy, anything you're worried about, any concerns?
Yeah, I think, okay. So I think if we break that question down. So I ask very similar questions to GPT all the time. So Copilot, whatever thing it is. So I think, though, that it's probably the right thing to do for Xero because it's embedded within Xero. I think asking something like on my Chrome web browser or on my phone, Xero or any other accounting platform, rightly or wrongly, is, well, no, this is right. Rightly so, is and should be the source of truth. So if you're going to look at a business, the first part of your DD, since it's part of what we've been talking about, is probably going to be looking through their financials. And so you'd want access to their ledger, and you would hope that they have one ledger, not multiple versions of the books, and then that's going to be the single source of truth. And I think then if that's the foundation of the truth of your business, yeah, I'd say that the data there is paramount, sacrosanct. Like it's good. It has to be pure. And I think, so I understand, personally, I like liberal, tell me everything I want to know. But I fully understand that, if this platform, which is revered as that already. So you log into this thing that is the pure truth. And then you introduce something like that. Yeah, I think it's probably right that it may not, or you just add appropriate, this advice is general and blah, blah, blah. But even saying that, like this advice as opposed to this data
it's the
or
sticky
this info.
point as well. And, people I would talk to as well, everyone there was mostly partnered with Xero. So everyone was a little bit like, oh, it will work out. But yes, basically that question is advice, even though they're saying it doesn't give advice. But it's just something that we'll wait and see. It's new, it will develop, it will change.
Is providing the data to make a decision advice? Yeah, good question. Okay, so I provide a bookkeeping service. We work with a lot of accounting firms.
Yeah.
And the reason why that works is because we're not tax agents, we're BAS agents.
Yeah.
The A word is a little bit outlawed in our firm because that's the point, that's one of our trigger points to refer it back to the accountant. So that's kind of how our relationship remains symbiotic. So if the client say, hey, can you advise me on how to, we're normally like, it doesn't matter what comes after that sentence, I'm probably going to ask your accountant, like your tax accountant. But what we do well is providing very pure, accurate, timely data to both the accountant and the client to be able to make that decision off. We don't make that decision for them. And I think that's where advice comes because it gets you pretty close to having made that decision. Like if you have your trusted advisor and you say, should I do this or that? And your trusted advisor says, yeah, I think you should. You probably are.
Yeah.
You're pretty close.
Yeah.
But if you're there going, hey, can you please give me, okay, let's use a real example, property. I'm looking at buying an investment property. Can you please give me the top 10 suburbs in Queensland, which is property? I don't think that you would make a decision based off that solely, but it starts to get you in that direction. So, yeah, I don't know if that's the end of where that would be, but is getting good data advice? I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so you said, you're pro-tech and you do sound very pro-tech and very optimistic. It's great. And obviously that's the way it's going. But when
Until they turn on us.
Until they turn on us and it's robots everywhere. Suddenly it's a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I know it's coming. I mean, people are scared about it.
Yeah.
But if we were to, look at what has happened in the past 18 months, which is how long I've been in this space, and I have seen so much change over that time, and especially in AI, everything's moving super quickly. How did you feel about it when it first kind of dawned on the horizon? Were you thinking, oh my God, this is so scary? Or were you thinking, let's bloody do this thing?
Yeah, very much that.
Yeah?
Very much almost the exact language I probably would have used as well.
Like, let's
honestly, I maybe the people that reacted the same way to cloud would have the same.
Still no one knows what the cloud is. What is it?
Isn't it just a big server somewhere else that you store something in? And then you can access it, via web browser. Because we used to have a server in our North Sydney office, a physical box.
Wow.
That you could kick and punch and stuff, like a physical
thing. It's not working.
Yeah. We don't have a server now.
Yeah. Just in the cloud, whatever the hell that is.
I think the cloud's literally just a service.
It's just a cloud.
it's like, there's less of it in spring.
Yeah.
But, so I think when people are like, no, I need my own server. No, I still need to use landline. If you're that way inclined, you are going to be probably that way inclined when AI comes. If you're the type of person that's like, hell yeah, zeros on a web browser, I don't buy a CD.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I miss CDs.
Early. Yeah.
Come on, I want to bring back the boombox.
First music CD.
Kesha.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Kesha was number 1 on my Spotify Wrapped just last year.
Still?
I'm still obsessed. Oh, actually, sorry. It might be Kesha or it might have been a So Fresh.
Because she hasn't released something in a while, has she?
Yeah, I know, but she's awesome.
I've seen her live. I saw her live at Horden, I think. Anyway, sorry, I digress. My first music CD was MYOB. No, was it?
Into your books.
But no, so I think if you were like, I resisted, no, I want to go to Officeworks and buy that. It's my tradition, as opposed to just be like Xero.com. I think AI would be things. So no, does it mean though that you require a little bit of change? Yeah, it does. Because if it does, and I think if we replace, AI, I think I find it confusing because of the word artificial. So I like to think of it more as automation.
Mm-hmm.
That makes just more sense for me. And the way that I like to frame it and think about it, I want AI to help me do things more efficiently in whatever aspect I'm trying to do. In my personal life, Woolies shopping, or whatever, I want it to be efficient or faster. So if it is automating things for me, okay, good. Then I think then business owners will be like, okay, in our business, okay, so then do you lower prices? Do you do this? Do you need yeah, maybe I will. If it does make this X process much more efficient and we need less time to be able to do that, could our price, if it all stacks up and our prices can come down, then yeah, we would. It's just a different model. But so then we just need to go get more clients, and then I need to focus more on marketing and blah, blah, blah. And maybe it's a different shift. So our average revenue per customer could go down, but the amount of customers we have goes up.
Which I think some people are scared of or a little bit reluctant, because I know some people, we talk a lot about how some small practitioners aren't ahead of the curve. Someone like yourself and my accounts is obviously clearly ahead of the curve and really embracing it. What do they risk not being ahead of the curve?
Okay, well, conversely, instead of reducing revenue, then just provide more value, which is also what we're trying to do. So we'll work out somewhere. We may end up saying that our ARPU remains the same. But so we're adopting. So our stack, our core stack for the next, that we're really working hard at this year is utilizing Copilot Business along with Xero and Sift. And because we're working really, really hard on our reporting, again, making that speed as quick as it can be, but then providing a little more insight than I think we previously did. So then we're increasing value. So could you justify the expense that they're already paying remaining the same, but with a decrease in your time, but the value increases? You can absolutely justify that. But yeah, so that's one way then in increasing that. And I think this is where there's that, I don't know, is it an argument or there's a friction perhaps between the compliance versus advisory stuff? And I'm sure you've seen that online, and that's super interesting thing. Because I think we sit a little bit outside of it because we're not providing advice. We provide the data to provide that advice for.
Yeah.
So we're on the outskirts of that debate, of that fight.
Yeah.
And I get to see it. So I'm providing you the data either way.
Yeah.
What you do with it is your thing. However, and again, it's just terminology and stickiness. If you're talking to your client more regularly, I think and I would love if it is the other way. I think that's a better service. So what I tend to find is that people that are providing an advisory service, whatever that means, tend to speak to their clients more regularly. That's all I find. Good. And that is more valuable. You have a better relationship. They speak to you more and the accounts that are kind of speaking to their clients once a year and stuff like that. I don't know. Just for me, it doesn't sound as valuable. I love my accountant. I pester my accountant. It's James Carey, Prime Partners.
We love you, James.
Yeah,
James.
He cops texts at wild hours. Come for a drink.
Pop, guys, seriously, wife's about to give birth.
But it's the other way. Like he sent me a text the other day. Like he's I think mid-marathon or something.
Oh my god.
I'm running. I was like, you idiot. Like, why would you do that for? But so it goes both ways. Great. We have a great relationship.
Yeah. Also, what I hear quite a lot is that, some people are saying, the relationship between accountants and bookkeepers needs to be strengthened.
Okay.
What's your view on that?
I can understand. We've sold to accountants. It's been like our primary go-to market for like 10 years. So I'm biased that I sit outside of it, I think, because it's our strategy to ensure that it's strong. They never fight with me about it.
Because you're just Noel. You're just here for a good time.
We're selling to you. We love you, we sell to you. So
come for a drink.
It's my job to ensure that relationship is strong. I can understand. So if there's any dispute, you can understand that, but you just got to. But that's where basic business processes and principles, moral compasses, all of that comes into play. So, okay, let's say a client's cranky and they say, our numbers are wrong. And so now there's two people that can look at each other and be like, okay, well, which one of us?
Who's wrong?
Which one of us?
It wasn't me.
Yeah. If that relationship is bad, you're just like, it's you.
I like that Spider-Man meme.
Yeah, that's exactly what you knew that. That was exactly what I was doing.
Where they're all pointing at each other.
And sometimes, if the relationship, this is awesome. I had this phone call yesterday. I'm going to have another shout out to another accounting partner of mine, Nick Fowles on PKF.
Nick!
So he calls me.
We love you, Nick.
We have a mutual client. He's like, man, Bass haven't been lodged for this client. We're like, man, come on, man. Yeah. And I was like, okay, appreciate the call. Let me speak to the team. And then they're like, bro, we have sent and so we went through it. There was 8 reminders, and they're not like just automated. They're like, proper reminders. So then I call the client, and the client's like, hey, what's happening? Because I've just got like 15 texts from different people. Like, there was 2 people on the PKF side, 2 people, and they're like, we're messaging. And the client's like, no, I've just decided not to.
Oh.
I was like, okay, well, so I'm getting pumped by the accountant in a good way.
Yeah.
Because we just care. And can someone lodge Bass, please?
Pumped in a good way.
And someone just lodge this thing, and the client's like, oh, nah. That's not right.
Yeah.
But it was the client that was like, no, I'm not doing this. So it's like sometimes something like the finances or something, some financial process can go wrong. And then the bookkeeper and accountant point at each other, but it's the client's fault.
He's just sitting there like, hee, sorry.
Yeah. So again, if a relationship isn't bad, then that phone call between me and Nick doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And we're just like fighting and we're going back at each other. We sent these 8 emails, piss off.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you maybe pick up the phone then. True.
Yeah.
Maybe pick up the phone then. Rah, rah, rah. And then we eventually go back to the client. It was their fault. And the client's like, no, it was my fault.
Yeah.
So just,
Well, at least the client's saying that. Usually a lot of clients would probably be like, oh, I don't know, it's your fault.
Good relationship.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like more just make it personal. Like if you're using a lot of fault at home, and I'm no relationship counselor, but if you're going around saying like this, whatever it is your fault, the F word, that's
the F word, guys.
You know what I mean? Like
get rid of that.
As opposed to, shit, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Let's deal with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to it's anyone's fault. That's just a lot better. And that was the exact approach. We have a problem. Let's deal with it. Let's work out the strategy. Who cares about the fault? Let's just deal with it, I think that generally a client would help. So bookkeeper and accountant, I can see why the relationship needs to be good. Ours are good.
Yeah.
Because it is our strategy to be good for that. Our business wouldn't be what it is without that. I hope people aren't throwing each other under the bus, because that just sucks, when just your day's just getting ruined. Like if like if you're a bookkeeper and your accountants are always throwing you on the bus, that sucks, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be in everyone's best interest to just to not do that. And also, like, we know some accounting firms have bookkeeping departments and stuff like that where they're, all in-house, and you see good instances of that, you see bad instances of that. So, I think it's still going to come down to, I think, like you said in your intro thing, like people and, how good someone is at delivering a service.
Yes. Well, speaking of, with this whole AI evolution, what is your take on the most important piece of that still being your connection and your relationships, like you said?
Yeah. I think we've alluded to it in multiple points that the mindset of a person will determine the success of adoption or failure of adoption. If the team that you're leading or the client that you're leading has a pretty fixed mindset, it's a difficult, like, that's more the change management than it is the software piece. The software could be the most amazing thing and they would still resist the change. So I think the leadership of guiding someone from a decision, even if it's super clear that it's the best decision for the business, is what it is. People hate change. I remember, like, there's, like, like the analogy of, like, driving to work. Like, if you find out the most efficient route, or you've driven the same way, you're going to drive that way every day.
Yeah.
But so, and then a road gets built and a better road or a back thing. But if you've driven that same way every day, I don't know, maybe you won't change. But, yeah, I think leading psychologically, that change is the most difficult, easily.
Yeah.
I think most accountants and bookkeepers would agree that the mindset or psychology of anything, not just automation, but say guiding someone through a cash flow difficulty, sometimes just being there like, hey, we understand. This is tough. We'll get through it. That's more valuable than a cash flow forecast sometimes, But yeah, I think leadership, understanding, empathy. We had this great session at XeroCon, going back to that conference again.
The Coachella. We love it. We're not over it, if anyone
So they had this session
was wondering.
for Platinum Partners, and it was guided by Matt Church. He spoke in the main plenary as well.
I watched Matt Church's session.
Yeah, awesome, right?
Amazing.
So then we got this, it was like 110 people in the room, and we were sitting on tables, and I've, on a quick aside, like, I've already followed up and spoken to, like, in separate emails, like, the accountants that were on my table, because, like, we already bonded and, like, formed a little thing. But it was about, like, authentic leadership, vulnerability, showing up, and like, moments of truth in your leadership. And I was like, that's a really cool thing to kind of have, like, a really cool workshop, a little breakout session that felt intimate amongst the 3,500. Sorry, it was intimate, really. 110 people amongst the 3,500, and talking about that sort of thing was awesome. And I liked its perspective. And it's like, in the midst of this tech thing, we're also acknowledging that leadership and effective leadership is really important for the guys. And I think that's still the case. I was reading a thing that when you start a company, and that it just doesn't have to be accounting, but when you start a company, no one knows what they're doing. You have this great idea, and your first hire, they're doing everything, marketing, bookkeeping, ops, management, everything. The third person's still doing quite a lot. Okay, so then you shift that mindset to, I can do anything, it's all problem solving, all hands on deck, to a really big business, CBA or like something like that, or I shouldn't name it, just any big business. Everyone has a very clearly defined small role. And everyone says it takes a long time to make a decision in big places, and everyone's often, not everyone, I shouldn't make those generalizations, that because it is like that, it's the mindset's often a little more, or the intelligence can often be a little more concrete. I've done this role for 10 years and I've done the same thing for 10 years, as opposed to, like, you're the second employee at a startup and you have to do every single role as best as you can, even if you have no idea what you're doing. And so that fluid intelligence versus fixed intelligence, or concrete intelligence, and versus, same thing, fixed mindsets and growth mindsets. That's how I look at the adoption thing. It's just seeing how leading someone through that is the case. And I think that, it sometimes, like I think Matt Church was saying, it takes empathy to be able to do that and saying, I understand where you are. I feel where you are. I meet you where you are because I've been there or whatever. And starting at that, I think that's a starting discussion, not just being like a bulldozer and be like, it's this or nothing,
Yeah.
I think is a more effective method. Or like, okay, I'm with you. Let's talk about it. Like maybe we won't do it, but let's talk through it.
Yeah.
That's already a heaps more comfortable conversation to have. Okay, it's cool. What are your hesitancies, and let's go through it. But people aren't being stubborn for no reason. That's just their mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm sure we could, keep talking about this for the rest of the day because it's something that everyone really resonates with as well, and something that everyone would connect with in this industry. But what would be your, quick message or quick lesson to everyone to wrap us up today? Everyone in the industry, anything you want to say or get out there?
I think the faster you move, the better.
Yep.
And generally, businesses will always succeed moving as quickly as they can. You can fail fast too. Like, so you make a decision. I think we're going to use Copilot Pro, but for whatever reason that doesn't work, and you've pivoted and now you use Super Grok. All right, great, but you work that out fast. Why take 2 years to work that out? I think moving quickly is a good thing, and that's just what my focus is at the moment. So make a decision, move quick, fail fast if you need to. Otherwise, you've just nailed something in, like, say, a month, or that would normally take 2 years. Or you've nailed something in 1 year that would have taken 5 or 10. And I think that's awesome. Time's limited, so if you can do it quickly, why not? So I think, that's what I want to do. Move quick.
Amazing. Love it. Well, Noel, Mr. Tiufino, thank you so much for joining us. It was a lot of fun. It's been amazing. If you would like to contact me, you can reach me at imogen.wilson@momentummedia.com.au. To all of our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to this really fun episode with Noel Tiufino. It's been so good. Until next time, bye for now.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you. Guests appearing on this podcast may have a commercial relationship with the companies mentioned.